What's going on, everybody? Bobby Fi and Eric Sheetsaber. We're going to be talking through the 11-gamer on FanDuel, the 8-gamer on DraftKings. Very, 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 very different slates because I think that you could argue the best stack and the best pitcher, I think, are probably in the earlier games that are available on FanDuel. So, Sheets, we said we were going to start off talking about FanDuel. I was going to ask you a couple of questions about mass entering things just as we go along here, but starting off with FanDuel, what do you find yourself doing over there?
So as far again, so I'm playing. I play this $3 150 max every night. And so I'm going to start with that one. Hold on, I'll just pull up what I have here.
Okay.
Hold on. Looks like the rally. As far as pitching goes, I actually have less Skeens. I'm going with a little lower ownership, and Cole for the majority of the exposure on FanDuel, and then like I have the next three are Arrighetti, Skeens, and Minaya. Now again, there's no obviously disputing the upside that Skeens has, but 11-2 is 11-2. You know, that's kind of tough. So I don't know. That's what I'm doing as far as pitching goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm only playing 2 lineups over there, and I actually am playing Cole and Arrighetti. Cole is my big buy-in, and he hasn't been great or anything. It is the Tigers though, so I think we got to give it a shot. But I really wanted to stack the Dodgers with Philadelphia over there, and in order to do that, I couldn't quite afford Skeens. So that's where I'm at over there. What are you doing stack wise?
Yeah, so I have Philly, but my second highest. I'm not really playing the Dodgers on FanDuel. I'm playing Philly, and then my next highest is Kansas City, the Mets, and then San Diego and Atlanta. So I'm again, some team had to suffer, and on this particular occasion it was the Dodgers. I just ran the Sims as usual, and that's just kind of what I came up with. Now, a couple of things to point out. This is actually pretty cool. There are only 2 teams without lineups out right now, on the whole slate.
Right.
That looks like
the Braves actually just came out with theirs.
Who did the Braves? Oh,
Braves
beautiful.
So Harris, Riley, Ozuna, Olsen, Murphy, Arcia, Kalinick, Laureano, Merrifield. Pretty much slightly different order, but pretty much what we expected from the Braves lineup. Actually, I think it is the exact projected lineup. It's just a little bit out of order.
And we don't have Cleveland yet. But aside from that, there's not much. And then there's nothing as far as like things left to be determined. And then again, I'm looking at the structure of the slate. There's a couple of 7s, then just a whole glut of 8s. Then that Atlanta game is just kind of the last one. And I'm just pretty, I don't know, not too off the board really on FanDuel. Well, I mean, I'm under for the Padres, I suppose. So I guess that's something.
Yeah.
And I don't have much Dodgers, which I think that's probably kind of taking a little stand too, because the Dodgers do look good. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the Dodgers don't look good. And I'm only playing 4 3s and 4 4s over there on FanDuel today. And that's pretty much where I'm at.
Nice. Yeah, I have the same over on. I mean, I'm only playing 4 4s right now because I'm only playing 2 lineups, but they're Dodgers and Philly, and then Cole and one, and Arrighetti in the other. Literally, that extra $200 made the difference where I could upgrade a few things that I couldn't quite get to on the first build I had. So let's get over to DraftKings here, and I was going to ask you this question because I sort of struggle with this, and I've always had a clearer idea of it, like when I'm hand building or versus scripting and all this stuff. But on a slate like this, where you have there's 8 games on DraftKings that I'm playing $108. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, so I know sometimes you'll have like 80% of a stack or whatever. For me, I actually ended up with the Dodgers at about 35%, but some of my stacks are 4-man only. and they're the highest owned for me. And then Cleveland would be next. That I have almost about 20% of Cleveland. Where do you usually end up in terms of what exposure you get? I know you haven't been looking at your stuff.
Well, but what's interesting is that I don't know whether it's okay. So here are the things that I've changed, and I guess SaberSim has changed too, such that I don't really get like these huge gluts of exposures anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I'm playing 50 or 150, whatever. And part of what I do is I really try to do, min uniques and get as many of them as I can without sacrificing too much of the projection. That's why what I do is I set like that metric, that average projection on the right, and then I just and here I'll show you. Hold on a minute.
Yeah,
I'll show you how to do that. Hold on, let me just get lineups. Let me just see something. Where is my? Let's just take like a build, like for example, over here. Share my screen. So let's say that. Hold on. So let's say that you were building like 150 lineups, okay, and you had I just don't want to show everything, right? So that's even better. And so you have all this stuff, and you want to get a little bit, you want to get some variance. What you can do is you click aggregate metrics button right over here, and then you can select from all these things. So I just select average projected score. And what that does is put this number like right here above all your lineups, which is average projection. And what you use that for is kind of like a checkpoint, so that when you start doing stuff, like what you can see what that's doing to your average projection. Like if you decided I want to put like 100% Gavin Williams, for example, or whatever, if you did that, then this will change, and then you could just see, how much your changes are impacting your lineup, so that you could just so you can figure out what you want to do. So like if I know I want to play more than one min unique, so I'll slowly but surely go down and watch this thing kind of change. So it really didn't change too much when it went from 1 down to 2. And then when it went to 2 to 3, it really didn't move too much either. And you just keep doing this until it really starts to like, and I don't know what the number is, okay? But usually you'll be able to tell, like, if we'll go down like 1 full point, like there it is. So okay, so you'll see that like min uniques 4 right here, it had 90 it was 90 whatever that was. No, it was what was it? Min uniques 3? Yeah, I think whatever. I think it went from min uniques 3 to min unique when it went to min uniques 5. That was when was it min uniques 5? No, not even. Okay, so it dropped like a full 2 points when it went to min unique 6. So then you go back to min uniques 5, and then you also just double check to make sure that your stack exposure doesn't change. Like let's say like I didn't want to get any 2 zeros or something like that. So as long as nothing else has been impacted too much, I'll go as many min uniques as I can. And this way, it's my way of making sure I don't get like 75% of stack. Okay. So, and it's been really, really working for me. Now, what working means is that I'm getting, kind of a more normal distribution of stacks, and I really have not, even though I'm not looking too much, I'm never really particularly surprised. I'm like, whoa, I have 70% whatever. Those days are just kind of gone since I've been trying to do this, be a little bit more risk averse, and extending the min uniques so that I have exposure to like a lot of different teams.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I think that sort of answers a little bit of my question here. And then some people are asking some questions in chat. Dwayne saying, what's the best team for value or low owned? Those are very different things. Look, the most popular teams are going to be San Diego and the Mets. The Dodgers will be next. I don't think you have to worry about it if you're not playing San Diego. I think you can still go ahead and just plug away. I have very little San Diego 5-mans, but I do have some San Diego pieces. But I do think San Diego and the Mets are going to be clearly the highest owned teams. For me, if you want a lower owned team that SaberSim really likes and that I like a little bit that also has value, I would say Cleveland is a team that I could be I'm playing quite a bit of that I think has pretty decent value. But the Dodgers are still my favorite. Whether it's a full stack or not, I just have a hard time seeing Mikolas not give up a couple home runs tonight to the Dodgers at least. Go ahead, Chiefs.
Well, Dwayne, I mean, if you really want the answer, I mean, I'll tell you, and again, if this really depends on how much risk tolerance you have and what tournaments you're playing or whatever it is. But I will tell you that the team that I have kind of the most like money exposure to relative to, I guess, their chances of winning, you know what I mean? You want like a low own that has value. I have quite a bit of the White Sox. Okay. And the reason for that is because number one, like you said, they have value. They're a value team, and they're going to be low owned in part because they're up against probably the best, one of the top two pitching options on the slate.
Sure.
So you're going to get some really, really good leverage. And are they going to be the top scoring stack? I mean, it's very, very unlikely. But when they are, you could, you're sitting really pretty, and you're not spending too much to get them. So I guess that sort of answers your question. Now, again, if you going to play one big buy-in for like 40% of your bankroll to play the White Sox, it's a 1-800-GAMBLER. Don't blame me. But mathematically and theoretically, I think the White Sox are actually a really, really strong play today. In either a portfolio of lineups, right? Because I have a good amount of money exposure to the White Sox, but damn, I do think Arrighetti is my highest owned pitcher, also.
Right.
So and that's an important point. You have to treat some of these things when you're playing like multiple lineups as if it were a portfolio. And that's why I can be pretty comfortable with some White Sox exposure, because I do have a good amount of Arrighetti. If not, so I'm just checking here. Yeah, Arrighetti is, I think, my top owned pitcher.
Yeah,
and yet I'm playing the White Sox. It may have my most money exposure to the White Sox. It's possible. Yeah, so it's on a pretty, I shouldn't say a huge slate. The DraftKings is not even a huge slate. It's like an 8-game slate. It's not really that big a deal.
Right. Yeah, and I understand the logic with the White Sox. I can't get there as a full stack ever with this. I mean, I know they had one game against the Yankees recently, but they've scored 3 runs or less in 85% of their games since the All-Star break. They've scored 1 or 0 runs in I think it's half their games. It's pretty incredible. No, I'm sorry, 2 1 or 0, but 2 or less in more than half their games. So it's just hard for me to get there. But I certainly understand the logic behind it. I don't know that I'm not going quite as different, but I think in terms of like a reasonable team that I actually think has a lot of upside. That's why I mentioned the Cleveland part is the way that I'm going. They're going to have a little bit more ownership, obviously, than the White Sox, but they're not going to have nearly the ownership that I have on them. I think I'm at least tripled up on every player from their lineup today.
Yeah, we ran that earlier. Remember, we got the 65% Cleveland like earlier today.
Yeah, and SaberSim, even when I tried to do my builds later, no matter what I tried to do, they really wanted to keep giving me the Cleveland, and I was very.
I know.
So I accepted it. I did something I don't usually do. I sort of went with it. Baltimore is the other team that Baltimore and the Dodgers are my 2 favorite hand building stacks that I hand built.
I'll tell you my 2 highest owned teams in the lottery. I really think you're going to like both of them. Okay. I'll give you from third up. Fourth is the freaking Padres. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. But third is Atlanta. I think you get your.
I like that.
Second highest is the aforementioned Cleveland Indians / Guardians.
There we go.
And the top owned is one that you mentioned earlier, and that would be the once and future Kings, the Minnesota Twins, against Andrew Heaney.
Yeah, and I have a lot of Twins exposure as well, and some of it is just because there is some value there. We know Heaney can blow up, so I can get on board with that completely. I think I have 12% of my stacks are Twin stacks, basically.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, so I'm in on that idea quite a bit as well.
And as far as actual 5-man stacks, my highest 5-man stack team is on DraftKings is Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yep.
And I'm looking at so in terms of my 5-mans, my highest is the Dodgers. But actually, wait, it's very close with the Dodgers and Cleveland as far as 5-man stacks go. As far as 4-man stacks go, Dodgers just smoking everybody. And then the other team that I forgot to mention that I'm using that I'm probably going to be at least, I guess, quadruple the field would be Colorado.
What's your pitching exposure in the draft on the DraftKings on the 100 lineups or whatever?
So out of the 100 lineups, I've got Arrighetti at 50%. I've got Minaya at 40%, pretty much near the field.
Yep.
Gavin Williams, I've got at 30%, and Schwellenbach, I've got at 25%. So pretty much.
What about Burns?
Burns, I only have 10% of.
Because we're really close as far as our pitching.
Yeah.
The only difference is that I have more Burns. But aside from that, Arrighetti and Minaya, I'm like 50% each, just kind of pretty much like you. Gavin Williams, I have 25. Spencer, I have 15. I didn't get who's the one that you picked up more of. Forget who you had more of, but Burns, I have more of than you.
But I also have like other weird ones. I have 10% of Waldron. I have 10% of Soriano. I have 10% of Savale. Even though
I by the way, I did not play what's his name after all? The Cal Quantrill. Cal Quantrill.
Oh, Cal Quantrill did not make it in, huh?
No, listen, I thought about it, but
Yeah.
If I got there, I'd play him, but I just didn't get there, so I don't need to force that. I mean,
yeah, no, absolutely. I'm with you. I think Soriano is an interesting pivot off of Arrighetti and Minaya chalk, just because he's going to be completely unknown. And I do like Atlanta. I do think that we've seen them blow up at times, and Soriano's a streaky pitcher who has the upside. So I liked getting to a little bit of that at least.
Bobby, in your 100, did you make any changes to the stack exposure, or you went with what they had? Okay,
no,
like what were your changes that you made? Like what did you say?
So I didn't want 100% 5-man stacks. Right. So I asked for 10% of 4-4s, 10% of 4-3s, and then 5% of 3-3-2s.
And then you roll with the rest. Okay.
Then I roll with the rest. And believe it or not, that even at the first one, they were giving me some 4-2s and some 4-3s and stuff. It wasn't 100%. It was like 92% or 94%. 5-2s, but if I was going to have the 4-mans, I wanted to have a 4-2 or 4-3, not just have 4 blank. And then I did have like 2%. I think I have as non-stacks, just because I'm sort of playing around with that. And I did go in also and specifically edit certain hitters that I wanted to be well over the field on. Some of them are very obvious, like Ohtani and Betts. Trying to see the other ones I added manually, and of course, when you do that, it's going to force them into little stacks. I wanted to make sure I get at least 10% of Seager and Garcia, so I have a little bit of Texas because of that. I actually ended up with about 8% of Texas stacks, but like as far as 4 or 5-man. But in terms of 3 and 2-man, I've got like 20% Texas of my 3s.
What happened to those cheapos for
Houston?
Yeah.
So they didn't end up in the lineup.
Okay.
But what's his name? The first baseman did, the cheap guy. So I had to make some changes and rerun my stuff after, because obviously a lot changed. But that DeZenzo's in the lineup, batting 7th. And then you've got the outfielders still, Dubon and McCormick, who are 24 and 2,300, that I ended up getting to a little bit as well, even though I don't love – I like the theory behind the Houston stack, but I didn't really want to make a full 5-man. It just didn't feel like the best stack to me. I still have a lot of respect for Crochet, so I feel like it's going to be, tough to get things off of him for the first few innings at least. So I just don't know how long he's going to pitch. Obviously, none of us do. But and then my hand builds, I built the Dodgers. The only hand builds I have are Dodgers, Baltimore, and Colorado, or with Cleveland as like the side team. That's the way I sort of ended up doing it. All right, Drain's doing the MME stuff. Let's see. All right, what else do we have to
Scotty Scheffler is plus 175 to win.
Plus 175. And what's crazy is that's probably not even a bad bet.
It's just a lock, probably. I don't know.
It just feels like it's inevitable. It feels like he hasn't played great golf, and he's like he could easily have been in first place at the end of today.
Who's playing well today? I don't know how he's probably not. I don't know what his final score was here, but Hovland had a good stretch there for a while.
Yeah, he shot 7 under.
So what is he? He's 4 back.
He's 4
back at 18 to 1. They're all terrible. They're all so terrible.
The one that I'm interested in is what Dunlap's odds are.
Oh my God, Dunlap! He's 35 to 1.
He's 3 back.
That's a rough seam though. I mean, he's got to beat some good golfers.
He does, but he's also like he's really talented kid, and he needs to actually like come in the top 2, I think, to make it to the next round. So he's really going for it. Not that he wouldn't really go for it anyway, you know what I mean? But he's really going for that.
How much is Xander had a bad day today.
Yeah.
Oh, he's behind by a lot. He's down behind 6. Okay.
He had a bad day, but like not like Rory and Morikawa. Our guys are just killing.
Morikawa and Rory, those are our 2 guys to win the tournament, right?
And they were hard. They were both cruising along beautifully on day 1, and then
they're both going to miss the cut, even though there's no cut. That's how bad it is.
I know. I actually was wondering. I wonder if people ever like withdraw in these types of things. I do.
If they're already locked into a spot, you mean?
Yeah, if you're already locked in, like, is Rory? But I don't think Rory would not. I don't think Rory's the kind of guy.
I think you get paid though. I mean.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think Rory really cares that much about his, whatever. I guess you're getting paid something. So, yeah, Dunlap was 1%, and I have 15% of him. So he's my one hope in the golf tournaments for him to stay up there. Corey's asking about favorite single entry stack. For me, it's the Dodgers, Baltimore, and Colorado. Take your pick of those. Those are my 3 favorites. I think Sheets. So what happened? So you're using the Sims now for your.
You want me to answer that? I mean, really? I mean,
I'm just kind of curious. So you're going to say the White Sox?
I don't have one, but I'll tell you who I have. I mean, like if that helps. I mean, all right. So I don't know who I have. I have to see who I have. Let's see. So hold on. I'm pretty sure it was the White Sox, but let me just double check. No, that it was the. Hold on. And again, I could be late swapping all this, so who knows.
Yeah.
This is the White Sox with the Padres is my single entry right now.
Okay, yeah, and I think if you play the White Sox, then that it does feel logical to play the Padres with them. Like it makes sense, That's the time where I wouldn't care about playing the Padres. In fact, if I had a 3-man White Sox stack, I wouldn't mind playing the 5-man Padres stack because.
And you got like freaking all our heroes here. You have Corey Lee is 2,200. You have.
Corey Lee's got some power.
Gavin Sheets is 3K. Vaughn's the most expensive guy on the whole team, I think, at 4,100. And
Luis Robert, I think it's 43, but yeah, it's pretty close.
Well, I mean, and Arrigetti's, he's got upside, but he's still young, it's still a good park, whatever.
Yep, absolutely.
And you don't need much. You don't need
right. Much. No, and Arrigetti could. That's the argument for taking the White Sox that I actually do agree with is that like Arrigetti's really good, but he's still he's going to have some blow up games here and there. Yep. It's just going to happen with these young guys. It always does. Unless your name is like Skeens or Atlanta's pitcher who's out for the year. I can't remember. Why can't I think of his name right? Spencer. What's his name? Strider.
And I wonder here. So that game starts at 8:10. So what are we going to have? We're going to have the Boston Baltimore game and the Miami Mets game. So we'll have some Mania results, sort of. I mean, we'll get 2 innings, 3 innings, or whatever it is. So
yeah.
And the Mets are going to be we'll at least see what the Mets ownership is. That will like if the Mets really looks like they get jammed, and then that the Dodgers in Colorado and the Padres, for example, are not going to be as owned as you thought, then you can swap to that. I mean, you get a look at what the Mets ownership is. I think that's big actually.
The Mets are going to be really popular.
But the thing is, we don't have to guess. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you don't play the Mets, and then I just have to figure out what else to play. You could get a free look. You know what I mean? You see what the Mets ownership is, and then everything will reset.
Oh, I see.
And then you'll know, you know what I mean, whether the Dodgers and say the Braves or whatever, your pivot stacks are going to be not popular or not. Because let me tell you something, if the Mets come out like low owned or something like that, I promise you the Dodgers are going to get jammed. Or something like that. Mm-hmm. Or they'll be more popular than you thought they would because you'll get to see that the Mets did not take the ownership. But if you do see that the Mets get really, really jammed, then you can go play the Dodgers with almost impunity.
Yeah, and I keep going back to this Colorado thing too. I think that's the other. That was the team that I wanted to. I'm well over the field, but it's. I initially my plan was Dodgers, Orioles. Rockies, basically, I would divide up between those, but then there was a couple other spots I liked, like the Cleveland thing that they wanted to give me, and then the Baltimore. There's Cleveland and the what was the other one that gave me Atlanta. Yeah, and I think even like some Texas, like there's look, it's baseball. There's a lot of variance, and just trying to do the best you can, and then like as you said, try to get the late swaps in. Make sure to edit a lot along the way. Do all the things that you teach in your videos, and that's pretty much
There's some other sort of announcements. So MMA tomorrow. I did all the videos for that already. I also did the lineup construction video as well. In addition to that, soccer EPL is back. Premier League starts up again tomorrow at 10 a.m. slate. I'll post projections up, but you got to be ready to roll. Because the lineups don't come out until an hour before. So I'll probably get them out like a half hour before game time. If you wanted to, I honestly recommend for soccer that you watch the RotoWire podcast. That's like what I do. I watch the RotoWire podcast, and then I use the projections, and I and I put their takes on top of my projections, and they just kind of go with it. Then you have League of Legends all weekend long. NASCAR they have the Xfinity Series scheduled for tomorrow, but I hear there might be rain. But nonetheless, I know that Brandon's going to be doing a live stream of that, and boy, oh boy, man, I think we got like 100 people in there for that last week or something.
Oh, there was like 700 people watched it.
It's crazy, and all of them got to see me announce Austin Dillon as a good play, and I got laughed at. And he won, and it was so unbelievable that he won that they're taking the win away from him. They're like DQing him or something like that.
I know. There were some people mad about that. I could see that on.
Hey, you know what? They listen. You want guys to fight for your money, man. You want guys that'll wreck people. You want guys that'll do whatever. Anyway, I don't even begin to mean to listen to me on NASCAR, but I'm going to try to join the stream to put my general DFS views on top of Brandon's expert NASCAR views, and we'll see how Nice. Corey asks, how high are we? Oh, how high are we on Burns? Okay, sorry about that. I am higher. I'm higher than Bobby on Burns. That would be. Yeah.
It's pretty rare that I'm not above the field on Burns in general, but I just like the other guys a little.
He hasn't been striking anybody out this year, it seems, right? I mean,
he's been great though. Like, overall, not recently as much, but overall, he's had a really great season. But
yeah,
he just hasn't had the big blow up, the big monster games lately. And Boston's not, against righties, they just don't strike out enough for me to attack it. But he's a really good real life pitcher, and it doesn't always translate to this massive DFS success because I think he's only struck out double digit guys twice this season, but he's still an awesome pitcher.
And it's coming around the corner. Football's coming around the corner.
It's happening. It's about to happen.
I'm going out to register next weekend.
I love it. Oh, that's right. Oh, shoot.
Yeah. I'm going out next weekend. I'm bringing Ashley too.
Oh, that's so fun.
We're gonna register, and then I'm using my DraftKings bonus that we're going to the UFC thing at the Apex.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's awesome.
And it's cool because it's not even like a big stadium. It's like almost like a studio. Yeah. Like you go and it's like that whenever there's like not a big UFC event, they have it in this Apex, and it's like 3 rows in like the whole place. So it's really, really cool. I'm bringing her, and we're gonna register for Circa on Friday, and then go to the UFC stuff Saturday, get some dinner Friday, and then enjoy the weekend.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Well, I realize that now Cleveland's lineup is out, and I had Brian Rocio as my cheap shortstop option in the stack. So I've got to go change. I've got to go re-enter my stuff, which takes me a lot longer than it takes you, but I'm getting better.
Okay. Who's out that we expected to be in?
Brian Rocio was the shortstop, as I had him projected to bat 9th, but he's not in the lineup. And
I wonder if I had him.
Let's see. You probably ended up with a little bit.
Probably did, right?
Schneemann is a similar price at shortstop, but they're not the same price, so it's a little tricky.
How do you spell his name?
SCHNEEMANN. SCHNE.
Oh, he's in?
Schneemann is in. Not
who was out?
Rocio.
So how do you spell that?
ROCCHIO.
Yeah, I did have some of him. Okay, so I do have to get him out. Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty much, I'm going to go back and do that, but I think we're pretty good, guys. I'll be in the Discord if there's any questions or things come up. I just want to remind people, you can go ahead and tag Sheets on things, but he's not going to just pop in and answer all the questions. If you want to tag me or Rody or Goldie, we'll handle a lot of that stuff. But if it's Sheets' stuff, I wouldn't expect a response on those. But Sheets occasionally will come in there and answer everything. But sometimes I just don't want people to expect to get a response every time they try to. Somebody asked about your tennis video today if it was the one from yesterday, not today. But I don't know. I don't know anything about that one.
What did they ask?
He thought that maybe you loaded the tennis video from yesterday instead of today. But I think
it's possible. Did I screw it up? It's possible.
Okay.
I don't know. Oops. Okay.
No big deal. I mean, it's over now anyway.
No. Okay.
All right, buddy. Well, have a great time. Have a great night and a great weekend, and good luck to everybody.